Hey, friend, it's the good news with Angie Austin and also radio host Rachel Maines, businesswoman, radio host, and she's with Big Fish. She does acting as well. Rachel Maines joining us. And Rachel, you are single, a business owner, a radio host, and you just posted something on Facebook that caught my eye, and it has to do with the painful reality of being single and the things that you're wishing people would do for you and not do for you. Welcome.
Thanks, Angie. Always love being on your show. Through the years, you and I have obviously prayed about singleness, and also as friends, I've shared heart to hearts with you. So love my friends I can share heart to heart. But one thing I have noticed through the years being single is I believe, to sum it up, that we put too many burdens on Christian singles. And I think as a church we could do better. And here's what I mean by that. First of all, Christian singles, we're doing our best, right, to walk the narrow path, to do things biblically. And then we have this culture that obviously seems to be getting worse and worse, totally opposite than our beliefs. And then we tell Christian singles, and of course, as Christian singles loving Jesus, we want to follow the Bible and follow what's right. So we do our best, not have sex before marriage and try to find a partner that shares our faith. And then we have Christians, probably, not seemingly, I don't think they realize they do this, but they heap burdens on us further. So it's like, hey, do this, do that, read this article, get this book. This is what worked for me. This is what, and it's too much. It's not even humanly possible to keep up.
Yeah, and I think there's I've learned with you, and I told you this recently through our long-term friendship, I do not give you unsolicited dating advice. If you ask me my opinion on something or say, I want to tell you what I'm trying now, and it's okay if you comment on it, but I really try hard to not give you unsolicited advice on dating anymore, because you've made it clear that this is what you're doing and you don't really need any feedback. But there are times when you say, well, like just recently we came up with, we started researching other ways to meet single people that might be fun, because it's just lunch
Right.
thing. I was really disappointed in how that worked out for you, and it was expensive, and without investing a lot of money, how do you meet people and have fun, but not just wait for someone else to do it for you, that you're actually actively getting out there in the world, having a good time and meeting other people. And a lot of it has to do with activities. We going for a hike or this, that, and the other. And we had better luck researching on Meetup for free groups to get together with people. Or, it's fine to pay for the event or pay a little fee to be part of the event, but we're not talking thousands of dollars, because you and I both over the years have not had luck with that option. I was kind of lured into it and almost did it in California, and then met the guy they were trying to lure me in with, and he was a disaster, and I met him for free and didn't want to date him. And I thought, goodness gracious, I'm glad I didn't spend $5,000 with the Beverly Hills matchmaker or whatever it was. But anyway, it's rough. And I was single until my mid-30s, so I've been there. So I know too, what it's like. And so this was kind of you saying what on your Facebook page?
Well, yeah, exactly. Having experiences and talk to other people like yourself, some who are married now and some who are still not. I just feel like we're just probably the unkindest to single people. I don't think we intend to be that way. But if you were to really take a step back, and I think maybe I'm single for this purpose right now, to try to help the body of Christ in whatever measure I can. To have maybe a little bit more compassion for singles and to be wise when you talk to them. I'm not alone in this experience. I have tons of girlfriends who say, yeah, you'll never guess what was said to me today regarding that. And some of the rudest, meanest things that people say to people.
What are
some
of the
single,
things that you've been disappointed in that people have said to you?
To me, well, you kind of get it from both ends. I have family members who are not Christians. So you'll say, oh, nobody's good enough for you but Jesus, or what was one? well, they just kind of ridicule you for even thinking that you can find a Christian man, thinking, why are you trying to find a Christian man? Why don't you just look for somebody who's just a good man who maybe isn't Christian? Then, when I was really, I went through a breakdown, but a time in my life when everyone knew I was waiting for marriage for sex, then of course you would get people saying, well, that's super crazy, you'll never find a partner if you're going to do that. So that's like the
that's shocking to me
people.
that someone would comment on that. That really bothers me. What do you even say when you're like trying to stay true to your faith and people make a comment that's like crazy and ridiculous? What do you say?
I don't even remember what I've said in the past. Sometimes I just, play it off as like, ha ha, or try to be kind and share my faith, or sometimes maybe I've excused myself.
I'm surprised for as sweet as you are, how blunt you can be. And I mean blunt as in like, I don't appreciate you. You say it nicer than that. I really don't want any comment on what I'm doing right now in the dating world. I just want to tell you what's going on. You could be pretty blunt, but not in an unkind way. But you can pretty much set boundaries.
Well, I hope to. I think it's good to try to learn how to set boundaries in a kind way. So I really try to focus on my words and, how to, say things in an intelligent but kind way. But yeah, I think that, we can do better, because I don't think Christians realize the abuse that other single Christians get from the world. And then you go to the Christian end, and then they lay more burdens on you, like obviously we want to wait until marriage for sex. That's probably the best route to go. But then you get other lists of do's and don'ts. And then you kind of, what can happen, and what I noticed in my life that happened, is you get very introspective.
Really?
You're like, well, what can I change? And then you start to think, man, you got to be perfect to be married. And then you look at the married people and realize they're not perfect, but yet everybody makes you feel like you need to read 100 books, change this or that, do this, So you can even see, for listeners, you can go to my Facebook page, Rachel Maines, and you can see some of the comments when I even didn't ask for advice. People, of course, in their nature want to give advice, but I just don't think that's the best route. I think the best route probably for Christians is just pray for them.
If there's something the Lord needs
to work out.
You get 83 comments. That's a lot on just saying like, hey, please, it says prayer request. Please, no inbox messages, pickup lines, etc., nor any dating advice. Most singles have heard every bit of advice there is, and the advice seems to contradict, other advice that you're given. Just pray and let's see what God does. The struggle of singleness is very real. I've talked to countless Christian ladies who are in the same boat. I'd love to be married with kids, etc. I personally feel like I've tried everything, moved to another country, hoping a relationship would work out, been online for years, paid thousands for It's Just Lunch Denver, which was very disappointing. And if they had the Bachelor for 30s, 40s, I'd probably do that. Say a prayer that if it's God's will, He'd place a special man in my life. Thank you for praying, friends. Prayer is much appreciated, and I know prayer works. And so you got 83 comments. That's a lot.
Yeah, and some of it was just people saying praying, which I appreciate it, and some folks did want to give their advice, and I guess I don't blame human nature. We all want to give people advice because we want to fix things.
One guy wrote, I'm sorry, this is, as a single man, Rachel, I'm now convinced that we are single, including you, because we want to be or because we're too difficult to live with.
Oh, I remember seeing that, and I just laughed at it. I was like, okay. I was like, I don't think I'm difficult to live with. And then I said, I was going to say, well, I've never lived with a man because I've never been married, so I wouldn't know. But I thought, I'll just hold off on that one. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
but a lot of people said that they would pray. They're praying that you find, happiness.
Yes, tons of beautiful comments for sure. And I thought, since I went through this experience and, there are some platforms with your radio show and I have my radio show, of course, I need to start speaking out because I'm not alone in this, and I have many conversations with many great gals, also single, and I see too in their life experience that people are just putting burdens on them completely as well. We don't consider, it's like when you put too many burdens. So Angie, say you're going to go into battle on this narrow path, and like, okay, good, you're going to be on this narrow path. It's going to be hard. Not most people are on it. I'm going to give you a sword. I'm going to give you some water. I'm going to, give you, like the warrior garb. And then you're walking on the path, and then you have people on the sidelines being like, hey, you're not holding your sword right. Hey, your shoes aren't good enough for this path. Hey,
you're not
doing
the
this,
proper sword fighting shoes.
Think you're gonna, or whatever it may be, right? And then you're certain on this path, you're like, man, I'm just getting beat up everywhere I go. I can't do anything right. I have the world telling me I'm crazy, and then I have the Christians putting more burdens on me, saying, do this, do that, and the other. And you can never rest, and you never. It's hard to trust the Lord when you're trying to figure out what you need to do, versus just be like, I'm going to be at peace. I'm going to be at rest. I'm going to trust the Lord. So that's the biggest thing I think that we rob from Christian singles is trust the Lord, keep on praying. When we, with all the rules and the regulations and the do's and don'ts and read this, sometimes it's like if I followed everybody's advice, well, can I go away on a sabbatical for a year? Because then I can actually try to do all your advice. But no, I got that, I have a business, I have a life.
Woman, you're very articulate, you're interesting, you like to laugh. We always laugh when we're together. You have that great little giggle. And so then they're like, well, what's wrong with you? Like there must be something wrong with you.
That's exactly.
And it's such an unfair assumption, because finding out the right person is a very difficult process. And I once asked George Carlin, a very famous and, kind of lewd comedian of his time, why his marriage in Hollywood had lasted so long. And he said, luck. I was lucky to find the right one,
I love that.
And somebody did say in your comments like that at this point in life, there's something wrong with everybody that's available. And I'm like, wow, that is rough. I can't believe we've used up our whole segment talking about this. It feels like we just started. There's so much to talk about. I want to make sure people can find.
Let's continue the conversation.
Pardon?
In future shows. Let's continue the conversation in future shows, Angie.
Yeah, and post things on your Facebook, and we'll get people commenting, because it is interesting to see advice, like what advice is given. It's kind of interesting. Give us your website so people can find your radio show and your business, etc.
Yeah, tune into Corner Cafe Radio. It's where we share the story and heart of an artist, and that's cornercaferadio.com with a pinch of entertainment. Also, my website, Rachel, be a friend with me on Facebook. Rachel Maines, just search for me.
And she's got red hair. You'll find her. Long, red, curly hair. Thanks, friend.
Exactly. Thanks, friend.